All right, here we go. Graphing linear equations. Let's go back and revisit slope-intercept form real quick. Slope-intercept form. This will be crucial. Okay? Last week we talked about slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We worked on you being able to recognize slope-intercept form, being able to identify the slope, being able to identify the y-intercept, okay? And we took that information and you guys wrote equations of lines with that information, okay? So, again, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Which letter represents slope? M. Which letter represents the y-intercept? Which letter represents the y-intercept? The B. That is correct. And I'll go ahead and put that up here. M right there, that's your slope. B is your y-intercept. Okay? The y and the x are just variables. The y and the x are just variables. Okay? Please make the association that slope, that the m and the x come together. Y-intercept. M is your slope, B is your y-intercept. B is your y-intercept. But if you want to try to find the slope, go find the x. The number setting in front of the x is your is your slope. Slope comes with x, m and x together. Please make that association. Okay? So if you look at the equation below that, y equals negative 3x minus 5. Do you agree that's in slope-intercept form? It's in slope-intercept form. What is the slope? What's the number in front of the x? Negative 3. That's all you need. The slope is the number in front of the x. That's the coefficient number. It's the big number. What is your y-intercept there? Negative 5. Okay, negative 5. Make sure that we use that sign in front of that 5. That, we read that as a minus sign, but that minus sign is making that 5 negative. Okay? How about in the next one? Y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Which one is the slope? 2/3. Y-intercept? Say again? 2. Okay? We need to be able to do this. If you are given an equation in slope-intercept form, one, we need to recognize that. Y equals. Guys, we've got to be able to take that slope and that y-intercept and identify that out of that equation. Okay? All right, any questions here? We okay with this? A little refresh. Okay. Okay. Got it. Very, very, very important skill there. Being able to identify that information. This is going to be very important. There we go. Good to go?
Yeah.
All right, big guy. Oh. All right, here we go. Okay, now, more towards what we're going to do today. We are going to graph a line using the slope and the y-intercept, okay? What I've done here is I've just kind of outlined some basic steps that we're going to use in order to do this, okay? Just to try to give you a little bit of framework and something to kind of follow until you get pretty comfortable doing this, okay? Number one, make sure the equation is in slope-intercept form, right? Is it in the form y equals mx plus b? Is it solved for y? Okay, that is important. Number two, just like we just did, we need to be able to identify the slope. What's your m? Number three, just like we just did, make sure that you are able to identify the y-intercept, which is your b. Okay. Number four, okay, in order to start graphing these lines, the first thing you're going to put on that graph is your y-intercept. You are going to plot the y-intercept on the y-axis, right? Y-intercept, y-axis, all right? So whatever our b is, whatever we identify as our y-intercept, our b, we're going to put that on the y-axis first. Okay, that's going to be our starting point. After that, we're going to apply the slope to that y-intercept point. Okay, and remember, slope, rise over run, right? Rise over run. We're going to have an up and down movement, and then we're going to have either a right or left movement. Okay, so we're going to apply the slope after that, and then, of course, we're going to need to draw a line through those 2 points. Okay? So very basic steps here. Really, 1, 2, and 3 we have practiced before, right? Slope-intercept form, identify the slope, identify the y-intercept. Kind of the new stuff today, if you will. Plot the y-intercept first and apply the slope to the y-intercept after that. Okay? But hopefully this gives you a little bit of framework for being able to draw the line, or to draw a straight line, okay? A linear equation. Okay? Guys, remember in the alphabet, B, the letter B comes before the letter M in the alphabet. Therefore, the y-intercept always goes on the graph first. Okay? B comes before M, so if you need to try to remember that, y-intercept will go onto the graph first. That is going to tell us where we can rise and run from. Without that y-intercept, I don't know where to rise and run from. Okay? Any questions on any of those? Because some of you guys are still writing them down. It's fine. Okay, that's fine. Any questions thus far? Then we'll get into, I think I've got about 3 examples here for you. So we'll do 3 examples, and then we will turn you loose with it. All right. Let me go ahead and get through some of these examples, then I will put it back on this screen. So if you need to finish writing those steps, you can write them, and I can come back to that. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few examples here. Okay, graphing a line using the slope and y-intercept, okay? Now, I would go ahead and write that equation down. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2, 1/3 x plus 2.
I'll just wait until you do it and put the other back. Again, I'll continue.
Okay, it'll work, and it'll be there. Okay, y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Is this equation in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. What is the slope?
1/3.
1/3. What is the y-intercept? Y-intercept is 2. Okay? Which one's going to go on the graph first?
B.
The B, the y-intercept, okay? So my y-intercept is positive 2, okay? Now, I know that you don't have a graph on your paper per se, so probably what you'll want to do, if you want to do this for right now, I would just draw you a little xy axis like that. I would go up on your y-axis, I'd put 2 tick marks there, and I'd put a point there. I'm going to put mine over here on this graph, okay? So at positive 2 on the y-axis, I'm going to put a point. That's my y-intercept. I know that my line is going through that point. Okay? Now we're going to look at our slope. Our slope is 1/3. Okay? Remember, it's rise over run. The top number talks to us about going up and down. The bottom number talks to us about going right or left. So if the top number is positive 1, where am I going, up or down?
Up.
I'm going up 1.
I thought you go.
I'm going to go up 1,
And then over.
and the positive 3 tells me which way am I going over? To the right. Up is positive, right is positive. Down is negative, left is negative. So this slope right here is talking to me about going up 1, right 3. So from my y-intercept, that's why we put that on the graph first. From the y-intercept, we're going to go up 1, right 3, and drop off another point. Up 1, right 3, drop another point off. On your little graph there, I would put one more tick mark above, and I would put 3 tick marks on your x-axis so that we can go up 1, right 3.
Oh, how you go up?
Going to go up 1?
Oh, you start from that.
Up 1.
You start from the.
You start from the y-intercept. That's why the y-intercept must be on the graph first, because that's where we know to rise and run from. If that y-intercept's not there, it's like, where do I rise and run from? Where do I go up and over from? That y-intercept provides that reference point for us, okay? Once you have at least 2 points, you're going to be able to draw a line through there. Okay? If you want to make more points, you can make more points. From each one of those points, you can continue to go up 1, right 3, or down 1, left 3. Remember, slope, we've kind of talked about this a little bit. Remember, with slope, you always have 2 options of movements. If the slope is telling you to go up and right, you also have the option to go down and left. It's the same thing. Up and right is the same as down and left. But we have now graphed, we have a picture of a line that represents that equation. Questions? We okay? Okay. Next one. Here you go. y equals negative 3x minus 1. Negative 3x minus 1. Is the equation in slope-intercept form? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's the slope?
Negative 3x minus 1.
Negative 3. The slope is negative 3. That's the number in front of the x. What's the y-intercept? Negative 1. Slope is negative 3. Y-intercept is negative 1. We have to be able to identify that information correctly, or else it doesn't matter what we put on the graph. Okay? Which one's going on the graph first?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So you're going to your y-axis, and I'm going to go down to negative 1, and I'm going to put a point there. Again, if you are doing this on your paper, I'd draw you a little x and y axis there. I'd go down, put a tick mark, put a point on that tick mark representing negative 1. Now, take a look at that slope. We're not seeing a fraction for your slope. Your slope is just negative 3. How can you make any number a fraction? Any integer number a fraction? Put it over what? Put it over 1. Negative 3 is the same thing as negative 3 over positive 1. So again, guys, we need a rise, we need a run. We need a rise, we need a run. So if you're just looking at a number like negative 3, that is technically negative 3 over positive 1. So our rise number is negative 3. Where is that telling me to go? Down 3. That's right. Negative 3, that's my rise number. Rise talks to us about up and down. Negative 3 says go down 3. Where's the positive 1 going to tell me to go? Go right 1, right? So, from my y-intercept, you're going to start right there on your y-axis at the y-intercept. We're going to go down 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. And if you're doing it by hand here, 1, 2, 3, right 1. And that's a terrible line, but oh well. That's okay. Guys, if you see a negative slope, our slope was negative 3, you should anticipate a downhill line. Just in case we're off on our rise and run, what if I didn't go down 3? What if I accidentally went up 3 and right 1? I've got an uphill line. Hopefully you're going to look at that and go, "Ooh, wait a minute. I wasn't supposed to get an uphill line. I was supposed to get a downhill line. I've got a negative slope, downhill line." Our picture now matches our expectations. This is a downhill line. It goes through negative 1 on your y-axis. There's my y-intercept. Down 3, right 1. Got it. Okay? Questions here? Okay? So far, so good? Wonderful. Want everybody to be graphing champions today. Here we go. Next one. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. Negative 2/3 x plus 4. Is the equation in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. What is the slope?
2/3,
Negative 2/3. What is the y-intercept? 4. Now, is the slope positive or negative?
Why negative?
It's negative. What kind of a line should we anticipate? Uphill or downhill? Okay, so again, anticipate those things. Now, let me talk to you about this slope real quick. The way that we originally see this slope, notice that minus sign, that negative sign is right in the middle of that fraction. You only get to use that negative sign one time. Just because it's in the middle doesn't mean it goes with both. Okay? So when you do this rise and run with this slope, you either put that negative with the 2 or with the 3. So how I have it written here first, negative 2/3, or you could write it 2/-3. So just understand that with a negative slope, that negative sign, you can either put it with the top number or the bottom number. Do not put it with both, because a negative over a negative is a positive, and that changes that slope. Our slope is negative. We're going to get a downhill line, so when you use that negative sign, either put it with the top number or the bottom number. Now, which number's going on the graph first, though? The 4. So we're going to go up to the y-axis. We're going to go up to positive 4. We're going to put a point there. The line is going to cross the y-axis at 4. Now, let's go with my first slope right now. Negative 2/3. A negative 2 on top's telling me where to go. Down 2. And then the 3 is telling me to go where? Right or left?
Right.
Right. Down 2. 1, 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Now, let's say I did the other slope. Let's say I did 2/-3. A positive 2 tells you where to go. Up 2, and then a negative 3 would send me left 3. Up 2, left 3, up 2, left 3. Look at there. Those points are lining up. Every slope, you really have 2 options for those movements. In this case, it was either down and right, or you could go up and left. Bottom line is, we've got a negative slope, we've got a downhill line that meets our expectations. Okay? Meets our expectations. What do you think?
That's easy.
It should be. Guys, this is something, if you are given an equation in slope-intercept form and you are asked to graph it, it really is something that, in so many words, should be a high percentage shot, right? It should be something we should be able to do pretty easily if it's already in slope-intercept form, because you're ready to identify a slope, you're ready to identify a y-intercept, and I can go put it on the graph. Or I can draw a graph, put it on there pretty easily, okay? But this is one of those kind of essential skills I think you need to be able to do pretty quickly and efficiently once you have some practice at it. Okay? We're going to get that practice today. All right? So again, with your graphs, you're going to be putting these on paper, and just like I showed you in the previous 2 examples, guys, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. Draw you an XY axis, put your y-intercept on there, and then put whatever tick marks you need on there to accommodate your rise and run. Down 2, right 3. Okay? We don't need a bunch of fancy elaborate graphs with a ton of tick marks all over there. Just put the tick marks that are necessary, okay? I should be able to see a y-intercept. I should be able to see that you were rising and running appropriately, and the line should match your slope, okay? There's what it looks like today. You're going to have 9 of those. And that page also gives you a little bit of review on some of the steps that I kind of gave for you there. Okay? But notice, look at all those equations. Whoops. Are all those equations in slope-intercept form?
Yeah.
They are, aren't they? Okay? Take a look at number 7 real quick. What's the slope?
-4.
-4.
But you put the 1 under.
What? And there's technically a 1 under it. Very good. -4/1. What's the y-intercept?
1.
Do you see another number back there?
It's the X.
Do you see anything right here?
No.
So what's the y-intercept? 0. 0. Okay? So on number 7, you're going to get a slope of -4, which technically is -4/1. Your y-intercept is going to be 0. So if you don't see another number added or subtracted behind that x or in front of the x, it could be in front, guys, it's 0. Your y-intercept is 0. So you're going to put a point, with that one right there, you're going to put a point right there at 0. And with the slope of -4, where are you going?
Left.
Up and down first. Down how many?
4.
Down 4, and then where?
Over 1.
Right
1.
Right.
1. Down 4, right 1. Or you could have gone up 4, left 1. It doesn't matter. Every slope, you have 2 options for the movements. If it's down and right, you could also go up and left. Okay? So number 7, a little bit different because it's missing a number, but really that y-intercept is 0. Okay? All right, what do you think? Can we do it? Okie dokie. 1 through 9. Knock that out.